Here we have a quadratic equation where we're asked to give our solution correct to three significant figures. And there's a big clue there. It means we're going to use the quadratic formula. In other words, this doesn't factorize. And the quadratic formula says that if you have an equation of this form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then x is going to equal minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. And that formula is given to you in the front of the exam paper. Now it helps to write down the values of a and b and c. In this case, a is 2, b is 3, and c is minus 1. So let's get on with plugging the numbers into the formula. X is equal to, I would always write the formula, but I've written it over there. Well, I'll write it again. Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. It's always worth writing the formula, because if you write the formula, if you don't write the formula and then you make a mistake, the examiner thinks that you've got the wrong formula. So write the correct formula and then start putting in the numbers. So b is 3, minus b then is going to be minus 3, and then it's plus or minus the square root of b squared. Well, that's going to be 9 minus, and I'd always put this in a bracket, 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is minus 1. Let's just extend that, and that's all divided by 2a. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let's keep going. So that's minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus, and then let's work out the bracket here. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times minus 1 is minus 8, and that's all divided by 4. So that's the same as minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus minus 8 is 9 plus 8, which is 17, divided by 4. So my two possible answers, and here's where I need my calculator. One of them is minus 3 plus the square root of 17, divide the answer by 4. And the other one is going to be minus 3 take away the square root of 17, and that's all divided by 4. Now if we work out the first one, that comes out as 0.28077, and the second one comes out as minus 1.78077. We're asked though to round our two answers to three significant figures. So the first one, x is going to be, if we round it to three significant figures, we count 1, 2, 3, chop. The 0 is going to have to round up to a 1, so x is 0.281, or alternatively, x is equal to, now to three significant figures here, there's your first significant figure, first, second, third, we're going to chop after the 8, 8's just going to stay as it is, x is minus 1.78, and those are my two possible. Okay, I'm going to show you two alternative methods here to solve this one. So starting with 2 over x minus 1 over x plus 1 is equal to 1. Whichever method you use, make sure you don't muddle it up with the other one. Now, one of the ways is to take these two fractions on the left and write both of them with the same denominator. And the denominator is going to be these two multiplied together. So x brackets x plus 1. So I'm going to rewrite both fractions over x brackets x plus 1. Now the right hand side doesn't change. All I'm doing is adding the two fractions on the left. So if we look at the first one, what have I multiplied x by to get this? Well, I've multiplied the bottom by x plus 1. So I'm going to multiply the top by x plus 1 as well to give me two lots of x plus 1. Now let's look at our second fraction. What have I done to the bottom? Well, I've multiplied it by x. So what do I do to the top? Well, it was 1. I'm going to multiply it by x, and I'm going to get that. And now I can write both fractions together as with a denominator of x plus 1. Again, the bottom, the right hand side doesn't change. So on the top here, I'm going to remove the bracket here. I've got 2x plus 2 take away x, and that becomes, well, the 2x take away x is x. So the top is x plus 2, the bottom is x times x plus 1, and that is equal to 1. If I now multiply by the bottom, the left-hand side is x plus 2. The right-hand side becomes 1 times this bottom, which is x brackets x plus 1. Removing the brackets then, I've got x plus 2 is equal to x squared plus x. And if I subtract x from both sides, I can see that the left-hand side becomes 2, and the right-hand side is x squared. So x squared is equal to 2, means that x is equal to the square root of 2. Okay, or you can have plus or minus the square root of 2. But the square root of, sorry, it should be plus or minus the square root of 2. Yeah, so x is plus or minus the square root of 2. Or you could work out the square root of 2, which comes out as 1.41. So x is plus or minus 1.41. Now, the alternative method, which I usually prefer, is this. You start off with your equation as it's given, and you think, okay, what could I multiply both sides by to get rid of the fractions? Let's just move that. And I can see that if I multiply by x brackets x plus 1, then I'm going to clear away the fractions on the left-hand side. Now, I've got to be a little bit careful here. In order to multiply by x plus 1, it's the top of each of these fractions that I'm going to multiply by x plus 1. So I'm going to take the first fraction, and I'll change the colour to make it a little bit clearer. So if I multiply by x plus 1, on the top there, back to blue, on the bottom I've got x, and if I look at the second one here, I'm going to multiply the top by x plus 1, and on the bottom I've got the x plus 1. So I'm just leaving my original equation in blue. And on the right hand side I'm going to do 1 times x plus 1. So you can see again there's my x plus 1. Now, why have I done that, I hear you ask? The reason I've done that is because I can see that this x cancels with this x. Here the x plus 1 cancels with the x plus 1, and I've cleared the fractions. So first expression here, what I've now got is 2 times x plus 1. That's disappeared, so it's just minus x. And on the right-hand side, I've got this x plus 1. If I now remove the brackets, I've got 2x plus 2, take away x, is equal to x squared plus x. And on the left-hand side, the 2x minus x becomes x plus 2, and that is equal to x squared plus x. And you can see I've now got the same as I had on the other side. If I now subtract x from both sides, again I've got 2 is equal to x squared. If x squared is 2, then x is going to be plus or minus the square root of 2. Again, same answer.